So Pokemon Legends Arceus has obviously given us a lot of really cool secrets and lore connections and stuff like that has really enriched the experience of this game and enriched the entire Pokemon world and its history as a whole. However, there are still some connections out there that I really haven't seen anyone mention that are really easy to miss, but are also pretty mind-blowing at the same time, and that is what I wanted to talk about today. Some secret mind-blowing connections in Pokemon Legends Arceus that you probably missed. I've got a couple disclaimers before we get started though. Number one, this is obviously going to have to do with spoilers, so consider this your spoiler warning. And two, this is all technically theoretical. There's nothing that outright confirms that any of this is in fact true, but the theories are pretty strong if I do say so myself, so just keep that in mind as we start to explore this. With all that being said though, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so what are these connections exactly, you might be asking? Well, they all have to do with the characters of Legends Arceus, and specifically, who they might possibly be related to in the modern Pokemon games. Obviously, characters in Legends Arceus having familial ties to modern-day Pokemon characters is a pretty strong running theme, and there are some characters who have obvious connections and some that aren't as obvious. These not-so-obvious connections between characters are what we are going to be focusing on today, and I've got several characters to go over in this video, starting with Volo. Now, it's pretty obvious who Volo is related to with the hair and everything. It's clear that he is the ancestor to Cynthia, and you would be right in saying that. However, there is also another character that Volo is very, very possibly related to as well, and that would be Lusamine. Meaning that not only are those two connected, but Lusamine and Cynthia are also related as well. The connections between Volo and Lusamine become very, very strong and apparent once you get to the end of the game, and spoiler warning, Volo reveals himself to be the bad guy and takes off his Ginkgo Guild attire to reveal his true form. With this new outfit and hairdo he's got going on, you can now put the two side by side and really start to see a bunch of similarities between Volo in his true form and Lusamine. Going down the list of similarities, they both have blonde hair, they both have hair over one of their eyes, they're obviously both evil, they both have a fixation on Arceus, with Lusamine's focus on it being through Type Null, who was made in Arceus' image, they both have opened portals to other dimensions, with Volo opening the space-time rift, and Lusamine opening up ultra wormholes, and we also know that Lusamine has a tendency to dress up like Pokemon she really admires, or rather, this is what she does to her daughter, Lily, as she dresses her in the image of Nihilego. Well, this is exactly what we see Volo doing as well, because he is dressed in the image of Arceus. And if you look at the coloration of their outfits and appearance, they are identical. White and gold are the primary colors here, with green accents. It's literally identical in terms of the color scheme between Lusamine's appearance and Volo's true appearance. So, given all of this, it seems very, very likely to me that Volo is not only related to Cynthia, but is also related to Lusamine as well, and through her ancestry, Lusamine would have learned about her great-great-great-grandfather's actions, and it inspired her to try and do the same by finding and opening up portals to catch otherworldly Pokemon, which she ultimately did with the Ultra Wormholes. And like I said earlier, this would also mean that Lusamine and Cynthia are related as well, whether they're cousins or long-lost sisters or something, we don't know, but that is the implication here, which now that we bring that up, it kinda seems surprising that that wasn't brought up sooner, considering they themselves do have a lot of visual similarities. So that was one of the big ones I had to talk about today, and I've got two other big ones to talk about as well. But before we do, I wanted to mention a smaller one. This one isn't as concrete, but it's a connection that I have personally made that I haven't seen anyone else make, and this would be the time to bring it up if I'm going to bring it up in a video, so I'm going to talk about it here. One of the wardens in the game who watches over the noble Pokemon Arcanine is Paulina, and Paulina, in terms of her ancestry, is one of those characters who it's a little more fuzzy on who she could be related to, if anybody. In fact, I have seen almost no suggestions on who she could be related to, and the times that I have, it's been very much a maybe, unsure, maybe even a stretch type of situation. And while my suggestion is definitely just a maybe as well, I do feel like there's a pretty solid foundation to work with, and that is because I believe Paulina could be the ancestor to May, the female player character from the Hoenn games. The reason why I believe this could be the case is because Paulina is wearing a headband that is the exact same kind of headband that May wore in the original Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald games, and that headband has always been May's signature piece of attire, so it seems very interesting to see an identical headband on another character in this game, and with that in consideration, it's also really interesting that Paulina actually has some visual similarity to May's mother from the anime, who granted doesn't appear with this appearance in the games, but if you were going to make a character that was related to May that was also a lot older in age, this is probably where you would go for reference on how to design that character, so I think that is definitely worth noting as well. Like I said, I don't think this one is as concrete or anything, but it's one that I wanted to bring up. And now we get into the other two strong connections that I feel pretty good about, and one of them has to do with the other character that a lot of people have been connecting to May, and that would be Irida. Irida does bear some resemblance to May, but in my opinion, there's not enough there to conclusively tie the two together. However, she is the leader of the Pearl Clan, and Paulina is a part of the Pearl Clan, so who knows, I guess. However, the real character that I wanted to tie to Irida as a possible descendant of her is Archie. Yes, Archie, the leader of Team Aqua. Now, you might be wondering, why in the heck would I suggest this, because the two look nothing alike? Well, it all has to do with a bit of dialogue that Irida says in the post-game of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and this also ties in that something Adaman, the leader of the Diamond Clan, says as well, because we're going to be looking at him too, and his possible ancestry and connection to Maxie, the leader of Team Magma. In the post-game, you can battle Adaman and Irida near their respective settlements, and if you defeat them, they will give you the Lustrous Globe and the Adamant Crystal, which is what you use to transform Dialga and Palkia into their origin forms. What's more interesting than these items, though, is what these two characters say about them. Irida says that the Lustrous Globe once belonged to the founder of the Pearl Clan, while Adaman says that the Adamant Crystal once belonged to his grandfather. When it comes to Irida saying that the Lustrous Globe used to belong to the founder of the Pearl Clan, we can pretty much say with certainty that this would be the ancestor to Archie, who we see pictured in every single one of the houses in the Pearl Settlement. Why else would this person be in Pearl Clan attire and be pictured in every single house if they weren't the founder of the clan? So this is probably who Irida is referring to here, and since these two conversations between Adaman and Irida are parallel to each other, and they're basically the same conversation, just with different words and different items concerning them, which is also true for basically their entire characters as a whole, they're really just two sides of the same coin. we can reasonably connect these two conversations to each other, meaning that Adaman's grandfather, who held the adamant crystal, was also, just as Irida says for her clan, the founder of the Diamond Clan, meaning that Adaman's grandfather is very likely the founder of the Diamond Clan, who is also very likely Maxie's ancestor, as just like the Archie pictures in the Pearl Settlement, we see pictures of a Maxie ancestor in every single one of the homes of the Diamond Settlement, meaning that this is likely the person who founded the Diamond Clan, and the person who founded the Diamond Clan is likely Adaman's grandfather, meaning that Adaman himself is also an ancestor to Maxie. And the same also goes for Irida, because since she mentions that the lustrous globe was once owned by the founder of the Pearl Clan, and her conversation parallels Adaman's, who mentions that his grandfather was the owner of the adamant crystal, we can assume that the founder of the Pearl Clan that Irida mentions, who is very likely Archie, is also likely her grandfather, meaning that Irida, just like the Archie ancestor who founded the Pearl Clan, is an ancestor to the leader of Team Aqua. I know Archie and Maxie don't look anything like Adaman and Irida, but these two bits of dialogue are a very strong piece of circumstantial evidence in my opinion, enough in fact for me to be convinced that this is the most likely option in terms of their possible descendants, given that all of the other suggestions that have been out there so far have kind of been a stretch at best. What do you guys think about these connections though? Do you believe they are legit? Is your mind blown? Or do you have another possibility in mind? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new for more content. Also, if you enjoy what I do here, consider checking out my Pokemon remixes on Spotify and other streaming services. It greatly supports the channel and my ability to make videos for you guys, and is very much appreciated. With all that being said, I will be back with another video very soon, so thanks for watching this one. I love you guys very much, and as always, I will smell you guys later.